Welcome, brothers, sisters, mothers, others, all of you, everybody, to the Vegematic Show. I'd like to talk about some different stuff tonight. And gee, if I don't look at myself, it works better. Here, let me tilt that out of the way. I'm still working on the documentary project that I've foolishly jumped in over my head on, and it's taking up a tremendous amount of time, but it's satisfying to me in a way that making silly little videos or personal blogs and stuff, I honestly don't think I'm all that much of a media personality.
I'm in the mood for love. Simply because you're with
I'd like to give a very happy shout out to Sandy Shoals. Sandy Shoals? I think it's Shoals or Shoals. How do you pronounce that, Sandy? I have seen Sandy while I was following the debacle at Standing Rock over the past year, and this passionate lady with crazy hair and a ready smile, and I was delighted to get a message from her, and she has put me in touch with Bob from Bob TV, and it's a happening thing, you see. Thank you, Sandy. And Sandy's done all kinds of stuff. She sort of sent me a little list of all the stuff, and mostly it's the Facebook page, Environmental Coffee House, and just an amazing activist and a fine person. Well, the world is heating up. Man, it is unbelievably hot in London, Ontario, the armpit of Canada. So I've been out in my backyard oasis, and the other night I was lying in bed and I had the window open and I heard this sort of weird sound, and I thought, it's nothing. And found that when I went to look, I found this huge dead tree that had fallen over, and it fell over just right. I was planning to take it out, and it fell over so that it did no damage whatsoever, and it's just being chopped up in the heat right now, and my old bones are getting a little brittle, and you know, having a stiffy doesn't mean the same thing when you're old as when you're young, because when you're old, it just, you're sore all the time, and so you just say, okay, I have a stiffy. You know, I think I'd be getting used to this, but somehow I'm not. Have you ever been on a chat room and you say something that you think is innocuous and people are offended by it? And I have to be really careful with the way I word things. I have this stupid thing where somebody asks me, oh, how are you doing? And I say, oh, I'm doing so well, I feel sorry for you. It's just a dumb joke, right? So type that in when somebody asked me how they were doing, and it was like, well, no, I feel sorry for you. I go, oh shit, no, that's not, don't take it that way, man. So be careful what you write in chat rooms, because it's so easy for people to take things the wrong way. I think this is a problem with the lack of direct communication, but more communicating through electronic means, is that the subtle nuances of language, visual cues, become divorced from the thought process, and that's why people can take things out of context, can read things into it that aren't there. Whereas if you were sitting across from me and I said that, I've said it to many people, and I never got anything but a little laugh, right? And I goes, oh, that's kind of funny, right? Because I mean, let's face it, how are you doing? Good. It gets kind of boring after a while. Has anybody been following the DNC lawsuit? H.A. Goodman, people like that. It's getting really confusing to me. Nico House, who I first encountered on YouTube, right at the height of the Bernie campaign, and he blew the whistle on the rigged election process in, I believe it was North Carolina, and I gained a tremendous amount of respect for him. And he is moving forward with his lawyer to try and recover, I guess, some of the money that the DNC helped themselves to that was supposed to be for Bernie. But a disturbing element that I found is that they are afraid for their lives in many cases. And seeing Nico's videos makes me believe it. Unfortunately, what I also see is the alignment with the extreme right that's going on, because the plaintiffs in the lawsuit that they are bringing forward have accepted protection by a pretty right-wing group, Oath Keepers. Now, maybe I don't understand, but aren't these people like sort of the Alex Jones crowd? And at what point, okay, exposing the DNC corruption is really good. Bernie's doing it. Bernie actually at the People's Summit was amazing and seems to be distancing himself from the corporate Democrats. I think Bernie still has a plan. It's all politics. It's a rich man's game, and people become emotionally involved in it because it affects everybody's lives. So at what point does criticizing Hillary and the DNC, which I agree with, they are the corporate Democrats, are the equivalent of the Republicans as far as corruption goes. So at what point, though, does attacking them exclusively get Trump off the hook for the disasters that are going on, as they're sort of trying really, really hard to nail Hillary for the emails, and a lot of those channels will just keep repeating and repeating and repeating that Hillary did this, Hillary did this, Hillary did this. Yeah, that's cool, but at what point does that become an apologist, that person becoming an apologist for Trump? Because I honestly don't hear HA and people like that speak a lot about what's going on in the Congress and in the Senate while the Russia thing is going on. And there's some, maybe Trump isn't really a complete moron, you know? I mean, it's possible, I suppose. But okay, just engage me for a minute. What if he's an evil genius that makes everybody think he's stupid and sets up all this bullshit with Elmer Fudd there, the Attorney General? Isn't that it? Who's Attorney General now? Elmer Fudd? Sessions, that's right. Elmer Fudd Sessions. Elmer Fudd Sessions, right? Pass it on. That's a Vegematic exclusive meme. So get it out there, spread it around, spread the love. Elmer Fudd Sessions. Thank you. I think that it's very hard now for non-psychopaths to be able to earn money, because non-psychopathic people fall victim to the leeches and bloodsuckers that exist if you're an empathetic person. Our culture is overrun with narcissists. That's where we are. The narcissist in chief is a perfect example of where culture, North American culture, has led us into this alternate reality show universe but played for keeps with deadly consequences. For placing blame on minorities, for placing blame anywhere you can, because that's what keeps people going, is their hatred. It's sad, it's miserable. A lot of people think, Canada is such a progressive place, but it isn't. Not in reality. There's just the same, there's been an increase in hate crimes against Muslims, just like in America. And I'm ashamed to say that much as I was extremely relieved when Stephen Harper was thrown out of office, and how I still would, of course, prefer Justin Trudeau. What Justin Trudeau really is just another Obama in terms of talks a really good game and continues to just be another corporatist that smiles, and a good-looking corporatist, but a corporatist nonetheless. And of course, compared to the Orange Maniac, it's really weird. It's really weird to sort of watch this whole thing play out. And how can people not see how narcissism now runs? I mean, this is what we train kids to be, as narcissistic, to this culture of self, me, always me, not looking out for your brother, your sister, not looking out for anybody but yourself. It's more common among the wealthy than among the poor, this kind of attitude of selfishness, and they use it to abuse people and look at it as a big game, whereas if somebody cheats somebody else, well, that's because I'm a winner and you're a loser. This is the attitude. This is the sickness that pervades our culture. I'd like to give a shout out to the folks over at Uphill Media. Write that down, Uphill Media. Progressives, true progressives. They run a live stream almost every day. The fellow that runs it, John, and his friend from Germany, Marcus, they have live streams every day, and it's the only live stream I really pay much attention to, because it's almost like people get to know other progressives, and that's a lot of fun. So check out Uphill Media. Oh, look at it here. It's the reality show. Don't look while we take your health care and make you not be able to afford anything. Just keep looking at the Trump show. Keep looking at the Trump show. Don't stop. Look over there. Look over there. Well, we got the public education system, and we're going to make all these permanent, but don't look at that. Look over at Trump. Look at his antics. Did you see that so-called cabinet meeting? Brown Noser Fest in the White House? Can anybody, even the most ardent Trump supporter, look at that and not want to vomit? So I will bring this rambling incoherence to a halt and show you another little clip from the big project. Immediately upon taking office, Reagan made clear that the new administration was to be dominated by big oil, even going so far as having the newly installed solar panels from the White House roof removed. He appointed James Watt as the Secretary of the Interior, who was clearly not an environmentalist. A few months into Reagan's presidency, there was an assassination attempt, injuring him, and in the process, evoking massive public sympathy.
Videotape of an incident that took place less than 15 minutes ago at the Washington Hilton Hotel when shots were fired at President Reagan. Here you see the president coming out now. You just have to watch. I don't know whether we can hear this or not. There's shots. God.
Reagan's first executive order eliminated price controls on oil and natural gas. Production soared and the price of oil declined by more than 50%. Americans, by and large, embraced Big Oil's mantra that we could endlessly burn fossil fuels. I have come to believe that the reason Ronald Reagan was initially elected was simply because Americans chose to believe a lie rather than face the painful truth. Reagan said it was going to be easy, that we could remove all of those silly environmental laws and conservation efforts. Reagan soon proved he was no fan of the union movement. During the 1981 air traffic controllers strike, rather than negotiate, Reagan offered an ultimatum: a shot across the bow towards organized labor.
It is for this reason that I must tell those who fail to report for duty this morning they are in violation of the law, and if they do not report for work within 48 hours, they have forfeited their jobs and will be terminated. End of statement.
As the decade moved on, the predictable effects of Reaganomics soon became apparent. Interest rates were at an all-time high, and the unemployment level had risen to rates not seen since the Great Depression. Similarly, homelessness, unseen for decades, exploded onto the American streets. Culturally, the media began to repeat endlessly that Americans had become more conservative, though no real evidence of this was borne out by statistics.
I think we ought to be tough. I like the concept. You liberals like to accuse me, we conservatives, of wanting hanging judges. I do.
You do?
I want tough laws. I want them to be enforced.
And why is it that as technology to replace the human workload was developed, all of it was used to increase corporate profits? Nothing went to pay for the increased productivity. No 30-hour work week. No 20-hour work week. They expected everybody to work longer hours and longer hours. How is it? How is it better? I've watched America disintegrate. I've watched Canada fall down. I've watched both our countries' living standards plummet. A culture of narcissism and distraction from what's really going on. The other day I was in my car and driving down a busy downtown street where it narrowed into, it was 2 lanes in one direction, and they were doing construction, and it narrowed down to 1 lane, so it was backed up, and sit there going, okay, well, turn the radio on and relax and, you know, burn some more carbon. Then I look over and there's this crazy person with a cell phone coming around the right at about 60 miles an hour. This is on a city street, and there's a guy with a little back end loader on just about on the sidewalk. The guy missed him by like 1.5 inches. Seriously, it's like zoom. The guy on the front end loader went white as a ghost, and he looked startled, and then I guess he tried to get the guy's license plate, but he was gone, right? And you go, is this the culture of distraction gone so far and gotten so that all that matters is yourself and the self, and regardless of putting people in danger, it doesn't matter. It's all about me. It's all about my cell phone. It's more important for me to talk on the cell phone, and I'm in a hurry, and so I'll put 20 people's lives at risk simply because I'm in a hurry. I deserve it. I'm great. That's the attitude that we're all up against. A lot of these maniacs arm themselves. They're little idiots. Men with tiny appendages trying to make up for it with large weapons. It's a shame America has become one nation under Goldman Sachs. The corruption is so endemic. When the orange one fills his cabinet with Goldman Sachs executives. It's a kleptocracy. Look it up, kids. Shrinking pile accumulated by fewer and fewer. How long will this keep up? I like to have faith that people are going to change things before it becomes intolerable. How dangerous do I think Donald Trump is? By himself, perhaps not too much, because he can be easily manipulated, but surrounded by these mindless sycophants who displaying the classic signs of a totalitarian regime. Have fun with it. Own it, America. And thank you for watching. Thank you for being there through the various incarnations of the Vegematic Show. I hope you'll stay in touch, and thanks for all your comments. If I didn't get to you individually, I'm sorry, I'm a lazy bastard, but I will try and answer as many comments as possible. And if they disappear, a lot of them just seem to vanish. So it's not that I'm not answering you, it's not that I don't love you. I don't even know you. No, it's not that I don't care. I care about every one people that are watching the show. If you're going to give me your attention, then I appreciate it. And thank you. Everybody have a good week. And I got to get busy in this heat and humidity to cut down the rest of a dead tree in my backyard and not drop any branches on my head. One hit me on the leg the other day and it hurt. So maybe I should wear a hard hat. I don't know. I don't do well in hard hats. And make me look like Archie Bunker or something. Anyway, muttering. Bye, everyone. Stay safe.
Just hate to see when people don't have common sense, don't have an understanding of what's going on.